Bonjour, peeps. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Communications from Home. This is a weekly live stream broadcast with our partners, Be Live TV, and with Be Live is an app that we use. Has the ability for us to show you pictures and have other guests with us. And so I'd like to thank Be Live TV. We've been with them for just over a year. And so anyway, we appreciate them. So tonight is Tuesday night, November 13th, and the broadcast is happening, the live stream from our main fan page at Facebook, and it's the Star Nations Radio Network Magazine and Publishing fan page. So welcome, everybody. Hey, Rochelle. Good to have you with me to this evening. Yeah, there we go. Hi, Rochelle. Rochelle, it is like really cold by us. Really. George and I were outside getting ready for, getting him prepared to be up here with me tonight. In other words, he had to go potty and do all that. And it is, I'm trying to get the temperature here, 12 degrees. 12. Yes. That is northwestern Wisconsin for you. And it's clear, which means that it's just going to get even colder. Oh my goodness. Why did I even look at that, right? So anyway, tonight's Tuesday night, and on this weekly show, one of the things that I do every month is to share with you the new magazine issue. And you get to hear some of the backstory of some of the things that went on with this issue, and to ask questions. And one of the things that I'm going to be asking you to do for me tonight is to have a little bit of a discussion, a conversation about topics that you'd like to see us cover here at Star Nations, either through the live stream shows or through the magazine. Every year I pull together the list for the magazine, and I'm going to be finishing that by the end of this month. Did you hear George? Yeah, that's George. He hasn't settled down quite yet. Usually what happens is he falls asleep either underneath my table or underneath my chair, and he hasn't quite done that yet. So anyway, if you could share your ideas and suggestions for topics that you would like us to cover in 2019, we'll do our very best to get that done. Okay? All right. So this evening is all about the November issue of 2018. It's issue number 66. Yes, issue 66. We've been at this for 5 years. So we have a few issues that are, when we first started out, they were free. And Google changed some of their stuff, and so we have to at least charge 99 cents. And then the print on demand free special issues, you have to pay the printing and the shipping, but we don't charge anything for the price for us, okay, for Star Nations. And so we call those now special issues. There's at least 3 of them out there, and so if you'd like to do the digital, and you can download those either on your Apple mobile device or on your Android mobile device, and check out the magazine, right? But for tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the November issue. And so I'm going to bring up the cover, go over one here. Whoops, it's me with longer hair. Why did I not upload that's interesting. I thought I had uploaded the cover, but I guess I didn't. Let's see if I can find it. I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Maybe not. That's weird, isn't it? Well, I guess we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way. We're just going to have to use this. We'll do a solo on this one. And so this particular cover for the November issue. Hey, Jackie. The cover is up. Yeah, I was hoping to have a bigger image of the cover. is what I was trying to do. I thought I had uploaded it, but I guess I didn't. But this is a small, it is the cover. It's just the size is smaller than I'd like. Um, so this particular cover for the November issue, I was looking for something that actually showed gratitude and thankfulness, right? And trying to depict Thanksgiving in a way that covered everybody, because there's many people who don't practice the traditional Thanksgiving that's here in the United States, right? For a lot of reasons. And so what I was trying to find for this particular cover for this year was something that depicted gratefulness and being thankful. And when I found this particular image of this young woman, I thought, that's as close as we're going to get, I think. And to have that nice bright background, and the yellow, represents in color anyway, the spirit of air and its mental thoughts. And so when we think about being grateful, then it's usually followed up by the emotion, right? And so the color of her sweater or her top is kind of that pinky or that purpley reddish pink color, not quite fuchsia, right? Yeah. So anyway, this was one of the images. Usually I usually have at least 3. There's some months where Spirit will only lead me to one cover, and there's no choice. There's no choice, and so we go with that particular cover. But for this one, see, not all Native Americans practice the holiday of Thanksgiving for a lot of reasons, but mostly it's because the way it was recorded in our history is not accurate. And and so it does bring some of the pain back, and those of us that have healing or still healing that historical trauma, that it just brings up a lot of memories for people. And so I was trying to be more positive for the cover. Yeah. And not everybody eats turkey either. So if I would have had like a big roasted turkey on the cover, can you imagine the vegans in our community, how they would have reacted to that, right? Although I did have a turkey, male turkey, that was one of the selections for the cover that had the tail feathers in full, right? And that was one of the possibilities. And when we put together the cover, actually Elf Elm, who does our layout and also the cover creations, they use both images so that I would have something to select from. And this is the one I ended up selecting from, because I also dowsed on it. I dowsed on it to get the vibrational frequency of it, and it came in at a 530, I think it was, a 530, and so it's at the vibration and the frequency of love, and so that's the one we went with. Yeah, so we get to use all our tools when creating the magazine, and I have to say that the creation of the magazine really fits me, because I enjoy that adrenaline rush of an early in a project, right? And also the magazine has a distinct beginning and a distinct end, because it's the publication day, right? That's the distinct end. And we start the new issue almost at the same time that we're publishing. So my puppy boy is very curious tonight. He's usually sleeping, and he's not. So anyway, so just in the creation process alone, it is flat out fun for me. And to be able to work with the contributing writers that we do for the magazine is a bonus, is a plus, because they're so nice to work with, and they truly do write from their own experiences and from their heart and soul. And yeah, and every month I send them an email thanking them for their articles um, and bringing the information to you, our readers, in a way that is soulful, right? It's soulful, and so, and I always tell them that this is the best example of how we walk the red road together. Together, yeah. Taking our experience and our wisdom to our community, walking it to the north. So that was the cover. We'll show the cover one more time here. So that's the cover for the November issue, 2018, issue 66. Yeah. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about each of the articles, just to give you a little idea of what's going on, right? So every month, what I do is I select the titles of the articles for the cover. And we usually have 5 or 6 titles on the cover, and those 5 or 6 articles we end up promoting quite a bit. And so this particular one I just promoted just a couple of days ago. This article is by Sharon Rosenblum, and it's a veteran's gratitude is the name of the article. And most people don't know this about Sharon. Sharon is also one of our editors. She does copy editing for us. She helps the contributing writers, those who would like her assistance, to edit their articles. Sometimes she'll actually help them kind of pare it down so that it hits 900 to 1,200 words. And also she helps them, anyway, she's helped me become a much better writer. I don't write as many passive sentences anymore. But she's also one of our contributing writers, and she contributes under the column Nourishing Body and Soul. And so not only does she share information about food, and usually a very yummy and delicious recipe, but she also writes about things like this, like the from the veteran's point of view. And not many people know that Sharon is a veteran. She's a veteran. She's a veteran of the Vietnam War and Desert Storm. She served as a medic on flight, right? And and so one of the things in the article that she writes about is that someone had made a comment to her about Veterans Day, about it being a nothing holiday. And she kind of took umbrage with that because she's a veteran, right? And so what she did was she shared about how we got to Veterans Day historically, and what it means to her to be a veteran, and also a woman veteran, right? Right. And so I hope you enjoy the article. It gives, I think, another perspective of our holiday here in the United States called Veterans Day. And from a Native American point of view, if you've ever been to a powwow, you know that we honor the warriors really a lot and right up front. And there's honor songs for each branch of the military, and so they're very much honored within the Native American culture. So, loved her article. One of the things you're going to also find in her article is that she shares a turkey tetrazzini recipe for turkey leftovers. So if you're looking for a way to use up the turkey that you have on Thanksgiving, this is a really good article. In fact, Paul, when he was doing the editing, he says, "We're making this." So we're gonna be doing testing out Sharon's recipe for the turkey tetrazzini. Yeah. The next article, this one, I tell you, I read it and I was verklempt. It's by Tony Charette, and Tony writes for us through the section Sacred Masculine. And Tony is an Anishinaabeg man, which means that he's Ojibwa and lives in Michigan. Tony brings to us a very unique perspective. He is a Native American man. Yes, he lives in the city, not on a reservation, in the city. And he's also two-spirited. And so he comes from a perspective that's very unique. And one of the topics for this month was Native American ancestors, because the November here in the United States is the month for Native American heritage. And so it's a time that we can actually share information about the different Native American nations within the United States, and we're all very unique, right? And so anyway, Tony's point of view, he writes about the ancestors. The title of his article is "Native Ancestors, Past, Present, and Future." He shares his belief that within many Native American teachings, we're aware that the literal blood of our people is in the soil upon we walk, where we walk. I can't read tonight. Upon which we walk, as well as the soil which grows our food and sustains us. Now, just that one sentence alone would make some people go, "Oh, I never thought of it that way," right? Yeah. So the very soil, the very earth that we walk on, we're walking on our ancestors. And their essence is also found in our food because it's grown in the soil, right? So he brings up that point of view, but he also writes from the point of view of being two-spirited and what that means to be in Native America, right? Everyone's experience with that who are two-spirited is unique. And I think what I'm going to do is I would like to invite Tony on this show, hopefully yet this month. Maybe we can try to get it like, I don't know, possibly yet this month. And maybe have that conversation, right? Have that conversation about what it's like to be in modern day Native America as a two-spirit. Yeah. I think that's a really good topic to share about, because not many people really understand that, and we might be able to shed some light on some issues and maybe do a little myth busting. Wouldn't that be nice? Stereotype busting. Why not, right? So if you're interested in Native American culture and a unique perspective by a Native American man who's two-spirited, you'll want to read this article. Like I said, it left me verklempt. It was like it touched my heart, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And this picture that I found to go with it, holy smoke! It is a Creative Commons. It's but it literally kind of jumped off the screen at me saying I'm the one, and to see it in the magazine is yeah. It kind of really pulls it all together, I think. Okay. And the next one. This one is my article. It's the editorial piece, and it's really about Native American heritage and Native American ancestors. And so the title of it is Native American Ancestors. I talk about the pictures here. Is the one up on the upper right is my grandmother, my mother's mother. And just below her is my grandfather, my Michel, my mother's dad. And the one that's kind of in the center there to the left is my dad's dad. And I don't have a picture of my grandmother on my dad's side. because she walked on. She passed away when my dad was 12, and I don't know of any pictures of her, and so I don't even know what she looks like, right? And so my article is really about something that my mom has told me since I was very little, is never forget who you are. And I always thought that she meant it was don't forget that you're a Native American, right? That you're Potawatomi. And that's what, because that's the nation I'm enrolled with. And so I talk about that phrase and about what it's like to look in the mirror and see one of my aunts looking back at me, because I look like one of my aunts on my mom's side. And so that's what I talk about in this, and how our ancestors and our DNA is that not only do we have the historical trauma that comes with it, but we also have the wisdom that comes with it. And so that's what I share about. I do have a video that's supposed to be in this article, but we're having technical difficulties with that particular video, so I'm trying to get that fixed. It's a song that is by Robbie Robertson, and it's called "The Ancestors," and it's one of my favorite songs. And the YouTube video won't play for some reason, and so we're trying to get that fixed. Trying to get it fixed. All those technical difficulties as a publisher. Okay, so you know what I forgot to do? Well, shoot. Shucks. I forgot to share the show. Rats. All right, I'm going to do that right now. We're just going to pause just for a second, and I am going to share and share the show. There we go. And I forgot. See, I start talking and I forget. So I'm going to share it to my news feed. And we're just going to let them know that I'm live streaming. And asking them to join me. And there we go. We'll post that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it to Star Nation's closed groups, for the network and for the academy. So we'll do that right now. It doesn't take long. And if they would please join. There we go. Make sure I get it in the right groups here. There. That's done. And I'd appreciate it if you could also share it out, share the show, because it is, it's one of those things that I think is a good thing that we do as energy workers, is to share the different shows that we have here at Star Nation's radio network, because we're easier to find in the news feed. Facebook, there is a gazillion pieces of information coming at us all day long, right? And to be able to find a particular show, a particular post, sometimes it just needs some help. And so I would appreciate it if you would like it and share the show. Okay, thanks. I do appreciate it. All right, so so my article, if you want to read something about my own life, but also to help you understand the perspective of why I, as a Native American, value certain aspects. And so with November being a month where we get to not only celebrate, but to acknowledge Native Americans in the United States, why not take the moment to teach, right? To a teachable moment. Thank you, Julie, for sharing. I appreciate that. And I forget that I can show these things now. On my afternoon show, I don't have that capability because I don't use Be Live for that particular one. There. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Now, this next article is by Karen Crowley Suzani, And Karen wrote an article about the energetics of the Fibonacci spiral and the golden mean. Now, I had asked Karen a few months ago if she could write a special article regarding this because that was one of the requests from our community was more about sacred geometry, and so that's what she did. And I tell you what, when I read this article, um, it reminded me about how much and why I love sacred geometry, and how it is a part of us and a part of nature because we are a part of nature, right? but it explains certain aspects even of our personal body and the divine proportions that we're in. Hello, Alice Morrison. Hello, welcome to the show. And so Karen, contributing writer, right? She writes a monthly column and under the heading Earth Energies. And so she comes to us with a really solid background in Earth Energies. She teaches all over the world about sacred geometry and also the Earth Energies. She says that, do you know about the energetics behind the golden mean and the Fibonacci spiral? Do they have unique qualities because this link to life and the divine? To explore these questions and much more, she featured this article to help us understand the depth of divine proportion called the Fibonacci and the golden mean. Because they're found everywhere. And if you don't know anything about it, she helps you to understand where those are at. And Karen is going to be my guest next Tuesday, and we are going to be talking about sacred sites and earth energies. And so she's actually going to share with us one of her favorite places, one of her favorite sacred sites. And so, that's going to be a really interesting conversation. So if you want to know more about Karen, come and be with us next Tuesday and you'll be able to meet her live. Okay. All right. So that's Karen. And here is Leslie Serenesi. You guys, she was just on my show was that last week? Last week, Tuesday. And in Leslie's article, she writes about essential oil for pets. There are many people who don't know that you can use essential oils for your pets. Now, you want to be careful, though. You want to make sure that you talk to somebody who is in the know about that, because there's certain oils that should not be used on cats, and there's certain oils that should not be used on dogs. And so, although I should probably let you know, is that here. I happen to use a lot of Young Living oils, and I always have lavender with me. It's one of my go-to oils, and my house smells really good because Mom loves it too. She uses it for her pain and for just to be calmer about stuff. And right now I use it with George when he gets kind of rambunctious just before a show. Yeah, I put some on my hands and I just put, pet his ears and underneath his chin on his cowl, and he relaxes. He relaxes. And so, in Leslie's article, she says that she shares about her insights to essential oils for our pets. She opens the possibilities of another method of healing. Therapeutic grade essential oils can assist our pets in healing and with their emotional challenges too. And so if you have a pet or you know somebody who has a pet and they're having some difficulties, you might want to read this article. Now, in the article, she also mentions that the use of hemp oil. Hemp? Yeah. And she was talking, because it's marijuana, right? And in the oils of it. And so even the way oils are made, it's the concentrate. It's the concentrate. It is the lifeblood of the plant, really. And so she writes about how the use of that particular oil for some pets who are going through very traumatic situations is very helpful. And so it's another perspective. It's kind of an eye opener, actually. So if you want to get some information about more information about that, you might want to read that article. And Leslie, even if you have a question, you can even contact Leslie about your pet. And she's more than, yes, thank you, Jackie. CBD oil. Yeah. And I knew that if I was going to say it fast, I'd say it wrong. CBD oil. And it's very helpful. It's very useful. And so, if you have any questions about oils and your pets, you can contact Leslie. But there are also a lot of practitioners in both Young Living Oil and also doTERRA who do know quite a bit about using oils and pets. Okay. Now, Stephanie says, I would love to see the comparison of symbols across Turtle Island. Hey, there's an idea. I.e., animals, colors, plants associated with the direction east. I would also love to delve into the mythology of Turtle Island. Ah, okay. Well, we're going to write that one down as one of those possible topics, huh? Because, there's 568, I believe, federally recognized nations, tribal nations here in the United States, which means that they've met the criteria set down by the United States government, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, to have the designation, right, that they're a nation and that they're sovereign. But there are many, many more nations that are not federally recognized, and yet they're still Native American nations. And so there's many more than that 568. So there's hundreds and hundreds of different nations right here. And so when we say that you want to see the comparison of symbols across Turtle Island, that is like a PhD level kind of dissertation to be able to, and I'm sure there's something out there that somebody has actually started that. So we can find it. I'm almost positive we could. Yeah. All right. Next. This is The Witch's Cauldron is the name of the column. It's a brand new column for us. And this is about, the author is Adrienne Campbell. And the title of her article is The Magic of Gratitude. The Magic of Gratitude. From a pagan, she's a solitary witch. And she brings to us a really solid background, I think, of what it's like to be a modern day witch that is using and searching for those ancient information, right? And how do we use it today? And so in her article, she's always giving us recipes. Like for last month, it was Samhain's bath, and how to use what herbs and that sort of thing. And that is her strength, is the plants and herbs. And so in this particular article about gratitude, she writes about this tree that she calls a teacher tree, and it taught her quite a bit. And that's what she shares with us. And so if you're interested in a solitary witch's perspective and experience and the wisdom that she has about plants, you're going to like her articles. Yeah. And she's a sweet soul too. She's, we're just starting to get to know each other. And she's writing from not only what she knows, but what she feels about. Yeah. All right. This one was fun. Fun in the fact, and in finding a picture that shows the removing negativity from your life is the title of Polly Jo LeBay's November article under her column, Chakra Sessions. And so I was looking for an image that made you feel lighter, number one, and two, joyful. Because what this article is about is the baggage that we came in with, not our past lives, and also the karma or the baggage that we've created in this life, and releasing those things so they're not so heavy. Our life isn't so heavy, right? And one of the things that I just love about Polly Joe's articles of recent is that, and if you've ever been to listening to her shows or watching her shows, you know about the Ancient One. It's one of her spiritual team members who sometimes speaks through her and uses a very ancient language. It's all about healing. And what she's doing now is that the Ancient One has been channeled through her. And so he has a message for us in this November issue, and it's about the negativity that we carry around with us and why it makes our lives heavy. Okay. And so it's a very interesting read to hear from not only Polly Joe, but also from the Ancient One. Yeah. Very interesting. And Chakra Sessions. All right. Oh my goodness. This is Carla Jo Worth's article, and she writes under the column, The Eclectic Pagan. And I have to say that Carla Jo, she wrote, this is actually in memory of her dad. Her dad recently passed away, walked on, just a few weeks ago. And so she shares with us her experience with being at the hospital, going to the hospital, being at the hospital, and what her dad brought into her life and others. And so it's a very loving tribute to her dad. And she says, I know it's off topic, but this is what came to me, and I just started writing, because she is a writer. She's one of those people who writes every single day. And she goes, this is what came through, and I would really like to use this as my article this month. And so I said, sure, let me read it. Let me read your draft, and we'll make a decision about it. And as soon as I read it, there was no way I was going to tell her no, because it's such a loving memory of her dad. And and so if you read it, you'll understand Carla Jo a little bit more and embrace the love that she has for her dad and where she's at with her grieving. Yeah. So, and if those of you who are listening in the audience or to the recorded video, if you've ever experienced your father, your dad walking on, passing away, you know what that's like. And so reading her article is also a way to help support her through her own grief, her own journey through that grief, right? Yeah. Carla Jo. Carla Jo is also another solitary witch. She doesn't belong to a coven. And her articles are very educational about how certain Wiccan items, topics got started. Where did that start? How did it evolve? And how do we see it today? And she usually has me going, oh, really? I didn't know that. And so, but this particular article is about her dad. And because sending her lots of hugs and love as she's walking that path of grief. This is the Mystery School. article written by Orchard Franklin. And they also share their recent show. Carl Franklin, her husband, they're co-hosts for the Mystery School. And so they also shared their recent show last month with us. And so I'm looking for the title because it's easier to read it off my paper. It's over here. All right. So the title of their article is "I Am Grateful." I am grateful, and it is the I am that Archon talks quite a bit about and knows quite a bit about the I am and the ascension process that goes along with that, right? But in this particular article, she shares with us another experience that she had as a child and also her family when they fled from Eastern Germany to the West, to Western Germany during World War II. And how her mom and her dad try to make holidays special, even though they were immigrants and they were being literally chased by the Russians, right? And so, it's a very moving piece because she's sharing this from her childhood, and how it was that experience that their family took, that flight from Eastern Germany. As an adult, she includes this in her article. As an adult, she went back to their hometown in I don't have the name of the town, but it's in Yugoslavia, and her mother begged her not to go back, not to return, because she was afraid that Orchun wouldn't be able to come back to the United States. She thought that they were going to keep her daughter, right? And so Carl and Orchun made the pilgrimage back to Orchun's childhood hometown, and she shares with us that experience and why her parents and how her parents taught her to be grateful for anything that they have, especially going through such a trying time, as you know, and the memories of living through a war as a child. Yeah, and if you read it, you're going to understand Orchun a lot better too, because she's sharing directly from her heart, from her experiences. So that is the Mystery School article. Here we go. Here is Minnie Kansman's article, and it's called Memory Lane under her column, Nature Adventures. In this particular article, memory layers, she brings in her knowledge of feng shui as well in this particular article. She and her husband, Rain, were down in Florida at the condo that Rain's parents have had for over 30 years. It was a vacation place that the family always went to. And as family, they would spend holidays there. They would spend their vacations there. And so that's the layers of memories, right? And this last visit that Rain and Minnie went down for was they were the only ones there. Her in-laws were not at the condo with them. And it was the first time Minnie had ever spent any alone time in the condo. And she said in the article that everywhere she looked in the house, there was a memory of when they were down there with family and how her kids looked forward to going down to see Grandma and Grandpa, at the condo in Florida. And so, and she talks about, the feng shui point of view of the memories and keeping the good memories, right? Yeah. It's a wonderful article. It's very endearing in how we relate to certain homes and spaces in our life. Yeah. Yeah. I think that if this particular article will help you look at maybe your childhood homes differently, or your own home a little bit differently, especially if you're the one who is the host for the family gatherings, right? And earlier today, I see, Julie and I, we grew up together. We went to the same school, and today I found out that Julie is living in her childhood home, and so I can only imagine, Julie, the layers of memories that you have there, from your family, and yeah, and so you might actually understand Minnie's article from another perspective, right? From your own point of view, and how you cherish those kind of memories. Yeah. All right. And the next article is this one. It's poetic wisdom. We have a section called Poetic Wisdom, and every month we like to publish unknown authors, budding authors of poetry, and on those occasions where I don't have a poem that's appropriate for the issue because of the topics, what I do is I go out to the copyright free section where you can see and use poetry by poets who allow their work to be shared. And Julie's saying, yes, many memories. Here we go. Yeah. And ones I bet you just really cherish, So the poetic wisdom in this particular month it's called Carrying Our Words by Ophelia Zepeda. And she happens to be Native American. And that's why I chose this particular poem. And it talks about carrying our words. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And trying to find the picture to go along with it was really fun too. And she also includes, it's a very short poem, but she includes the poem in her native language, which I thought was, why not for Native American Heritage Month, right? Is to include something like that, so that we get an experience of seeing, an opportunity to see a native language that doesn't look anything like English at all, not even a little bit. And so I thought maybe you guys would enjoy seeing that, especially those who enjoy poetry. I think that when you read this one, you'll enjoy it too. Yeah. Okay. Here you go. Next. The Tarot Journey to the Stars by Julie Hedges. That's the name of her column. And Julie shares with us waiting for the healing. Waiting for the healing. And if you've ever been on a healing journey, and most of us have, many times we feel like, why isn't it done yet? How long do I have to go through this? And getting impatient with it, and or not wanting to go in that direction because of what you might think would be painful, or more painful than what it really is, And so Julie, I saw Julie's name and read Julie's name. But Julie Hedges, what she writes about in this particular article also is about her own personal healing journey, And so from her personal experience, and so she's writing from her heart and from her soul. And she's also very musical. She has a beautiful singing voice. And she likes to include music also whenever she can in her articles. And so she also explains about the healing process through the tarot and also through astrology. And so she, the combination of those two come together very nicely. And so she is sharing with us her heart and soul with this one. Yeah. There we go. And next, this one. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is Patty Heredia is the author, and the name of her column is The Therapy Center. And this is the second part to a two-part series about food for your soul. Food for your soul. And do I include? It's a much longer title, but because of space, we had to kind of shorten it up a little bit. And so I'm looking to see if I have the very complete. I don't, because we had to shorten it up. And it's a little small print. So anyway, what she's writing about is certain fruits and vegetables and spices that help us to heal our physical body and to keep it as in a healthy form. And you know what I like about it is that she lists, it's a short list. She lists foods that should be our go-tos. Okay. And why. And that food just doesn't feed our physical body. It feeds our entire being. And in part 1, she was actually talking about how the frequency and vibration of the food and how we can raise the vibration of the food, even though when you shop for it in the grocery store, it could have been there for and shipping for several days or not weeks, right? And so how to raise the vibration of that food that would feed not just your physical body, but your emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. Yeah, it's a good read. It's one of my mom's favorite columns because she likes reading about how food is prepared and why, right? And so, so she really enjoyed this series, and she's looking forward to the second part. My mom reads the magazine by the print on demand, because I order one every month because I critique it and I go through it and make suggestions to our layout specialists or things that we're going to change or keep. So both moms, my mom and my mom-in-law, they both read the magazine, and yeah, there's certain authors that they really, really like a lot. Yeah. All right. So that was Patty Heredia. And Patty has her own business in Grand Rapids and Michigan. And so she is a healer. She also does massage and other healing services as well. And so if you're looking for more information about that, you can easily, in the magazine, we have all the contributing writers have a way to be able to contact them. All right. Here's another good one. Now this one is the Wisdom Keeper's Path is the name of the column, and it's written by Eddie Mullins. Eddie writes this month about Raven, and the title is the Knowing Medicine of the Raven. The Knowing Medicine of the Raven, and his gratitude of the knowledge that the raven imparted to him. And because he shares about how he had met this raven on a hike that he was doing in his new digs in Sedona. So in this particular article, I had so much fun looking for the pictures for the raven. And the raven that he met that day was actually sitting on a fence, and they made eye contact. The raven stayed there for quite a long time. And so Eddie had a spiritual conversation with Raven. And he also shares with us one of his podcasts about this particular Animal and Power Animal. And so that link is also available so that you can listen to his podcast about it. Yeah, it's good stuff. And I guess we're at the end. One of the things I also wanted to let you know about is that the magazine is available in print and in PDF, web viewer, and of course digital. Can't talk tonight for Apple and Android. So on your phones, on your tablets, for both Apple and Android. And I will put the links in the comment section after the show about where to get the web viewer, PDF, and print on demand. And that's through our partners, and they are Mag Cloud. And so you'll be able to, however you like to read a magazine, we have it for you. Okay. Because the digital, of course, you get to download it or you can keep it in the cloud with the digital. With the web viewer is only on the cloud, and on the PDF, you can read it on any one of your electronics, whether it's your laptop, desktop, your digital. The PDF is probably the most versatile because you can read it through any one of your devices. Okay. So I will get those links in the comments for you after the show is done. They don't know. Well, let me look. I don't think I have. Do I have that? I've got a couple of documents open, and I thought I had. Oh, nope, I don't. I have a lot of radio show documents open, but not necessarily for the magazine. So I will get those links for you in the chat after the show is done. Yeah. So I want to take just a few minutes to ask you about topics that you would like to see us cover in 2019, whether they're live stream shows or as magazine articles, because actually we could turn one into the other or vice versa. And so I know I'm going to write the one down from Stephanie about the symbols. And I'm going to write on something that's not going to make so much noise. All right, so symbols, Native American symbols associated with the directions. Across Turtle Island. And for those of you who don't know what Turtle Island is or means, it's actually natives in North America, specifically the United States. Okay. All right. So, and if you can just type your ideas or your suggestions in the live chat, I'll be able to write them down. And also, they're going to be there for me tomorrow too. And for those that are watching the show by recorded video, please also enter your ideas and your suggestions as well, because I'll come back and take a look. It'd be helpful if you tagged me, because that way I know that you have written a suggestion in there, right? Yeah, that would be very helpful. And Stephanie says, I would like to know more about the chakras beyond the main 7. Oh, probably Joe would just be loving that one. All right, so chakras beyond the 7, known as the Kundalini. All right. Yeah, because, we have so many chakras on our bodies that, when I say our bodies, I mean more than just the 7, right? We have them on our hands and our feet and our knees, and your ears, and yeah, we have a lot more than just the 7. And so that is a terrific suggestion too for the chakras. And I also wanted to write down Rob's. Rob had said the I Ching. And of course, my pen is running out of ink. Why? All right. There. All right. So if, or you can also PM me your suggestions if you want to kind of be, if you're shy, which is okay, you can just PM me and let me know what you'd like us to cover in 2019. I did this last year too, but I did it to the closed groups, asking them their suggestions and their desires of what they would like to hear more about. Okay, an interview with Dulcinea from Pine Ridge. Okay, so Stephanie, if you could tell me Dulcinea's last name, if you have it, or if you have her contact information, you can just PM me that, and we'll see if we can get her as a guest on one of our shows. Yeah. Is there anything specific about what does Dulcinea? Because I'm not familiar with her. What she has done or said that would you'd like to hear more about? Yeah, and it's just not my show that we're asking for suggestions. It's anything you guys would like to know more about or more in depth. Like if you want more stones and crystals, almost all of the radio show or the live stream hosts have a thing for crystals. And so you're going to be getting it from different perspectives. Mervyn, is probably our resident expert on the crystals and stones. But, Polly Joe knows quite a bit when it comes to the relationship to the chakras and stones and crystals. I have a smattering of understanding of that. Stones and crystals from a Native American point of view. And so if you'd like to know something more like that, if you just do a more of a, basic request, it's going to be covered from many different points of view. Yeah. All right. I just want to grab a pen here. All right. So, oh, missing Native women. Okay. Yeah. All right. Dulcinea. All righty. And also, Stephanie says an interview with Louis Mel Medrona, MD, PhD. Okay. Louis. PhD. Okay. Jackie is saying, we're going to show this one that Stephanie just wrote. There's that one. And also the interview with Louis Mel Medrona. And Jackie would like to know more about herbal healing. Ooh, that's a good one. Adrian is going to really like that one. And what we should do is have Adrian doesn't have a show, but what we could do is just bring her on a show to interview her, and then we could turn it into an article for the magazine. Yeah. And Stephanie is saying Louis is Heyoka. Ah, okay. So he's also Lakota. Or at least Osheti Sakoi, one of the is it 7 bands? 7, yeah, 7 of the Great Sioux Nation. Yeah. Okay, well, I thank you guys. I appreciate your input. And if you have any more, please go ahead and put them in the comments, and I will pick them up as soon as I can, probably sometime tomorrow. And so that we get the full list going by the end of the month and get that distributed to the contributing writers and show hosts. So, and I do appreciate it. I really do. And I also appreciate you being with me this evening for Communications from Home. And please join me next week on November 20th. And my guest is going to be Karen Crowley Suzani, and we're going to be talking about earth energies and her favorite sacred sites. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Can't wait. All right. So enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, and Bama Mina until we see each other again. Thanks, you guys.